Good afternoon. This is Table for Two with Tony Puma from Tony's Dogs. Everybody knows Tony. He's been doing this for a long time. We're here in Howell, Michigan, in front of Ace Hardware, where he usually is. Used to be Grundy's. I'm sure many of you Brighton folks and Howell people remember Grundy's. Cliff and his dad and family who ran this place for many years, and also had a place in Brighton at the mall, which we all surely miss that mall. Anyways, the focus and story is on Tony today. Not that Tony is not a superstar. He really is. God-fearing, loving man, and stating that, Tony, when I first met Tony years ago, we were talking about Jesus, and praise the Lord. We need more of that today. With the way things are today, we won't get into it too deeply because it's all about Tony today, but stay together, folks. Keep it together. The promise is coming, and don't worry. Don't worry. Even in the Bible, it says 365 days are times, I should say, in the Bible. It mentions that. So keep the Lord on focus. Tony, so tell us about the first time you got this idea of even having a hot dog stand and doing this for many years.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Mike Tilt, for having me today. Mike belongs to our Kiwanis Club in Brighton, and I got to meet him. I haven't known him that long, but he's a great man of the Lord, and he asked me to do this interview, and I'm honored to do it. First of all, I'd like to thank God for everything He's ever done for me. Second of all, I'd like to thank all my customers out there that supported me over 26 years. I'm getting a lot of people that come to my wagon today that has kids that they're telling their kids, when I was a kid, I come to the hot dog wagon. It's hard to believe I've been doing that long, but I have.
Time flies.
It started out, the way I got into the business, it's kind of funny, but I, as a little kid, it was like a lady with a diamond ring. As a little kid, when I was like 5, 6 years old, my grandparents used to take me to all the fairs. And I was always astounded. Back then, all there was hot dog wagons. There really wasn't all the food they have today. And of course, I love hot dogs. And my grandma would let me have all the hot dogs I wanted. And, I always looked at all the lights of the carnival and stuff. And I didn't really want to be a carny, but I thought, man, this would be so awesome to sell hot dogs. And it's something that I always wanted to do. But, I grew up and, I did a lot of different things. I've had a few businesses in my time. I retired from Ford Motor. And, when probably about 6 years before I finally left Ford Motor, I bought a little hot dog stand, which is the one I've got right today. I'll always keep this one. I've had about 7 of them all together, not all at the same time. And but I bought this in Ann Arbor, and I brought it home, and my wife said, "What are you going to do with that?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to sell hot dogs when I retire." And she thought it was crazy, but 26 years later, she's behind the stand. It's something that the Lord has blessed us with. There was magic in the air the first time we ever done it. And I'll always keep this stand. Now we're down to just 2 stands, but we move it around a lot. I started out, some of the people that are from Howell will remember, I've lived in Howell all my life. I was born and raised right over here on North Street. Well, there used to be a store called Wrigley's, and that's where the dollar store today is on Grand River. It's really funny because it's really funny how the Lord works. But when I was about 8 years old, Doc May in Howell sold mushmelons, and he knew my dad and mom real well. Who didn't he know? And he said to Tony, which was my dad, he said, "Tony," "would your son like to sell mushmelons on that corner?" So that's where my hot dog stand was originally at. And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to do it." So I did it. And I sold mushmelons there for probably maybe 3 or 4 weeks for Doc May. I wasn't even 10. And people would put money in a can, and that was really awesome. That's where my hot dog stand originally was, at the Wrigley store, but it was not Wrigley's then. It become Facios, then it become the Family Dollar, and I was there 18 years. And But anyway, another thing that I did there when I was about 12 years old, the store changed over to Vacios, and the guy from Vacios asked my dad, he said, "Would your son," I was about 11, and he said, "We're going to have a little merry-go-round out front. It's just a little toggle switch. Today you couldn't do that." Had 4 little horses on it. So there's my carnival thing again. And he says all he's got to do is put the kids on the horses, which today you couldn't do, and hit the switch, let them go around a couple times, take them off. And so I done that on that corner. Then behold, and I worked at Wrigley's for a little while in Vacios as I was into produce. I did produce there as a part-time job. So that corner has always been my corner, I guess. It's on Fowler Street in Howell, right on Grand River and Fowler Street. And that's where the Family Dollar is now. Well, we were there for quite a while, then it changed hands, and they put the Family Dollar there. And I wouldn't be able to be there anymore because it was a corporate call. But I was there a total of 18 years. Then Cliff here at Ace Hardware, that's been probably 12 years ago now, got a hold of me and said, "Tony, we'd love to have you." I was going to really retire then and just do my events. I do shows. And I was just going to do my road shows, my melon, balloon, and all the stuff that we do in Livingston County that's blessed me. And but I wasn't going to do the corner store anymore. And kind of missing out. We were at the Home Depot. We were there 13 years with a hot dog stand. And we were in Lowe's for 4 years in Howell in the hot dog stand. So I wasn't going to do the outdoor other than just the shows. But I decided to try it out here. And I've been out here now 12 years. And the Lord's blessed me. And thanks to you people out there, we have a successful business. So this has been a lot of fun. You know, I get to meet a lot of people. I mean, it'd take me too long to tell you. Some of the movie stars I've met, some of the news people I've met them all for different events we've done. We were on CNN News one time, if you can believe that. That's quite a story, but it's too hard to explain. But we were coming back from Florida, and they were filming out on this country area. It was on a freeway, and they were filming a tiger that was on the guardrail. Somebody had put stuffed animals, tigers there. And when I went by, my wife said, we were on our way to Florida. I said, what were they doing? It was a beautiful sunny day. She goes, "They're filming tigers." And I says, "I don't know what you were drinking the last place we went, but I wish you'd have bought 2 cases of it." We don't really drink. So anyway, we pulled into the gas station up the road. It was like in between Fowlerville and Howell, but it was in outside of Kentucky. And we talked to the news people. And we asked him what they were filming. Well, he showed us the tigers and told us the story. And he said, "You'll probably be on the radio tonight." Well, we were on our way to Florida, and they interviewed my wife and I. I told her about we had a hot dog stand from Howell, Michigan, blah, blah, blah. We get to Florida. The next day we're watching a parade at Disney World. We had our granddaughter with us. And all of a sudden my phone started ringing. And I thought it was a prank. And they said, "Is it all right? This is WHMI in Howell. Could we put you on the radio today?" And I said, "About what?" And they said, because we had told our kids about it. And they said, "Well, we'd like to interview or put a thing on the paper about the tiger." They said, "Have you heard you're on CNN?" And I said, "This has got to be a prank call." And I handed my phone to my wife. Well, sure enough, they said, "No, you're on CNN News." I was on CNN for like probably maybe a minute. And they put that all on there that we find that it was called Tiger on the Road. So everybody, my wife had a friend in England that called us, says, "Man, we just saw you on CNN," you know, and so that was a blessing from God. We were in Florida for some of the winter. When I got back, I had a picnic table sitting down at Cephas. That's where we were at the time. And we had 3 stuffed animals, tigers, on the table. And the lady that was running my wagon at the Home Depot, she ended up with 15 stuffed tigers that people were bringing and saying, "Give this to Tony." So that was a blessing from God too. And we've met a lot of people. It's been really a lot of fun. If it ended today, I can thank God and thank all you people out there that's ever bought a hot dog from me, because it's been a blessing to my wife and I. We're still in business. Been in business now 26 years. And everybody asks me, they say, "Tony, when are you going to retire?" I always tell them I am retired, but I'm having fun now. This is a lot of fun. I always say, Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones. I love the Stones. I got to meet him one time. And, I'll tell you, it's really amazing. He made a record one time called Start Me Up, I'll Never Stop. That's me. I mean, I really love what I do, and it's been a blessing and a lot of fun.
That's awesome, Tony. Great story. You've always told some great stories in the past, and I'm glad we having this opportunity to record you today. We will be back, but we will pause for our local commercials.
Hi, Best of Brighton. I'm Nancy Moon Kirby. I'm a licensed nail tech with the state of Michigan. I offer pedicures, manicures, and gel polish. If you're in need of any service, just message me. Thanks, Best of Brighton.
Thanks, folks. We're back with Tony the Hot Dog King. That's his new name, by the way. You like that? Will that work?
I like that. That'll be my new. I'll have to put that on the side of the trailer.
We'll have that on the 9th. In case you haven't heard, on the 9th of July, we're going to have a community picnic. Hopefully it's going to be the biggest event of all time. That's what we're shooting for. We want to create a scenery, an event that brings back those 70s and 80s kind of feeling of how it was back in when we had the carnivals, the fireworks, and all that good stuff. We were young, we were free, and we just had a great time. A lot of you on the Best of Brighton remember those days. Well, come on out the 9th on Main Street, July. And back with Tony. Tony, you were talking earlier about location. Now, is that location that you were referring to, was that the same building that Cephas was in years ago? Okay.
Yeah, it started out, that used to be years ago. Like I said, I lived in Howell all my life. That was a church at one time, believe it or not.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it went from that to Wrigley's, and it went from Wrigley's to Face Shows, and then it went from that to, boy, I can't think of the name of the store that was there. It was called Howell Market, I think. Yeah, it was called the Howell Market. And that's where, I was there most of the time. Now, when it was Cephas, Mr. and Mrs. Cephas, if anybody out there remembers them, Pat and her husband, that's how I got started, actually, because I bought my stand. I was still working, and I went there, and I asked them if I could set my stand out front and do the melon parade. That was been 26 years ago. And the first thing I ever done, I had no idea what I was into. I pulled a permit, and it was a kick and a holler to do it back then. It was a kick and a holler, and I pulled a permit through the health department, and I set the stand up, which we'll show you that in a minute. This wagon here, I'll always keep it. And I went out there, and I sold hot dogs 3 days. That was a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We did the melon parade. There was no food vendors back then. I was the only guy around, other than there was a fellow uptown that used to have a place that sold hot dogs outside. So I was like one of the first guys that done it. Well, there was magic in the air that day because we took off like a rocket. I mean, I paid for the stand the first day that I opened, and I paid $2 for the stand. No, I'm just joking. But anyway, we paid for the stand, and I made money, as much as Ford, 1 week that back then. And I said, I want to do this. I really want. It's something I always wanted to do. So Mr. Cephas come out, and he told me, he said, at the beginning he didn't want me to really, he wasn't sure if he wanted me to be there. He said, I don't want this to turn into an A&W, kids hanging around, throwing papers all over. I said, no, I'm going to run it myself. And I did. And when we got all done, after the Melon Festival, Mr. Cephas come out. He was a pretty hardcore guy. He said, Tony, he said, you brought a lot of people in my store. People were stopping and buying milk, bread, and they were pulling into the hot dog stand, and they won't come in the store. He said, I was still working at Ford, and he said, you want to do this on the weekends? And I said, yeah, I'll do it on some weekends. And that's how I really got started. And I was there, like I said, for about 18 years, even when it switched over. In fact, the guy that bought the store from Mrs. Cephas, I found out that they sold the store, and I went in the store that day, and I told her, I said, I'll move that wagon out of here next week, because Mr. Cephas passed on. Pat still was renting the store to these people, Steve
year
and
was
Kathy. That would have been, let's see, around 1998, right around in there.
That's when he passed, or?
Yeah, I think that's when he passed.
Okay.
And so Pat still had the store, but she was renting it out. Well, when it went from that to the family, well, I call it Family Dollar, the grocery store I was talking about. I thought, well, they probably don't want me here anymore because it was their call more than Pat's because they're renting the store. And I went and told her, I said, Pat, or Kathy was her name. I said, I'll move that trailer out of here tomorrow. And I thought, well, that's the end of it. We're not going to be doing it outside no more. And she goes, well, where are you going? And I said, well, I'll move it off. You're renting this place now. It's your store. She goes, you ain't going nowhere. So it was kind of funny after we got talking. I said to her one day, I said, I was really afraid that you and Steve were going to tell me to go. She goes, well, we were afraid you were going to leave.
Oh.
She says, no, we want you here. So I was there another, probably 7-8 years before they finally, they bought the store and they sold it to the Family Dollar. I don't know if they still own the store, but that's what's there now on Fowler Street in Grand River and Howell. So that was what that was all about.
Were you a hard worker when you were a kid? Did you?
Oh yeah, I always had a job.
How old were you when you had your first job, and what was your job?
I'd say my first job was probably 12 years old. I was shoveling snow and doing stuff like that. I always kept myself busy. We got allowance back then. It was a different day back then, but
right.
I still had chores I had to do at home, even though we lived right here in the town.
What about cutting grass? Any
yeah, I cut a little grass.
jobs?
Yeah, done that. And so it was. I always kept busy. I went from there to. I've done a lot of things. I had a roof coating business for a while. You're probably thinking, how did this guy retire? But I always did this stuff. I had 2 pizzerias at one time when I was at Ford Motor. That's when I froze my seniority. Because I had one in Dexter, Michigan called Poma's Pizza. That's my last name. We were right there on Main Street in Broad. We had that store for 20 years almost to the day, and I ended up selling it. And I also had a store in Chelsea for 7 years. It was called Poma's Pizza. When I sold the store, when I got the store going in Chelsea, I waited about a year and it was going well, so I froze my seniority and I did it full time. I had a manager at the time working at the store in Chelsea, and Bev ran the one in Dexter, and that was called Poma's Pizza. The building that we were in, Jeff Daniels, the movie actor, real good friends with Jeff. He's from Chelsea. He bought pizza from me every Friday night. Well, he bought the store. He didn't put a pizzeria in there. It's called the Purple Rose Theater today. And we know Jeff well. We got along with him well. And I mean, he wasn't a really star to us after a while because, he bought pizza from us. He'd walk down the road in Chelsea and it was no big deal.
Right.
But that was pretty interesting there. So so we got out of that business. And then I was just going to take it easy. And that's the beginning of the story about the hot dog stand.
Nice.
And I was still at Ford's.
I'm surprised that the pizza business back then was really just starting to kick off, and I know people that started pizza like in the 50s and 60s, and kept with it. Really did well, and a lot of the places you see today started in the 50s. I know Little Caesars, I believe, started in 59, and still doing real well today. So let's pause for another commercial, and when we come back, we're going to see the works inside and just how Tony puts that hot dog together. Stay tuned. explain to us, Tony, what's going on with you?
Well, I've always liked these metal signs. As Mike can show you, our door, it's got them on there. We got them on the door over here. I got over 150 signs in this trailer. They're all metal. I've gotten them from Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, Indiana, as far as Branson, Missouri. And as you can see, this is a big sign right here, but it's covered up. And but on here, I don't know if you can quite see it. We got them on the ceiling, and they're just signs. I focus on old movies, food. Unfortunately, this is my big sign that we put up above, so it's covered. But there's every metal sign that you can imagine I've gotten. It's been a little hobby to me. I have them on my box. I'll show you my clown. This is the side of our trailer. We've had 4 of these trailers in our time. I used to have a black one and 2 more red ones. They've all been lettered pretty much the same. Got the flags on top. And then the front end of it. So yeah, then this is the hot dog cart that I told you about. Believe me, this thing's got enough. What's holding it together is the paint. But this hot dog stand, a man built this in 1959. That's when this was built. It was all handmade. I've painted it, and you know, I like it to look like old school. People, you know, my wife says, scrape the old paint off. No, I just keep putting it back on. So, and then the wheels, I've got 4 sets of wheels that I had made. As you notice, we got these wheels right now, but we switch them out, different colors, and different. I like to focus like in the circus, carnival thing, because kids love it. You know, they. But yeah, I've had these different things done quite a few times. And the wheels, like I say, we switch those off. We got big banners also that we put up when we do a show. We do a show, I got 2 of these tents, and it's got all my banners that go up in the air, and it looks like a regular fair when I get done with it. That's when we do like something big. But down here, this is the setup we have. Everybody likes this little dog. This is my mascot. I call him Tony. I got this little dog up here. People, out of everything I got, they love this little dog. Other than me, I'm just kidding. So it's a lot of fun. You know, it's a job that it's not a job to me. I mean, it's hard to do, setting it up and you know, tearing it down and stuff like that. Like when we do a show, I call them shows. You know, it's like a Ferris wheel. You know, once we get all our stuff up, we hit the switch and turn it on, and me and my team have a ball. Some of the people that I've got working for me has been with me as long as 15, 16 years. We're like a band. I mean, I call these guys, they're retired, some of them still got jobs. And we've been together that long where I just say, guys, we're doing a show, can you make it? Yeah, Tony, I'll be there. And we just turn this thing into a riot. But my main lady, I can't let her out. This is my wife, Bev.
Hi.
My lovely bride. And the lady I wanted to talk about is over there. No, I'm just joking with you. This is my lovely wife, Bev. I give her first God, second is her. She puts up with me because I do get nervous and kind of shook up when I'm doing something, but even though I love what I do. But if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have this business. She's my backbone. And we work together, and we've worked together in the pizza. We've worked together for 43 years. In pizza, you name it, we've done it. So, yeah. But it's been a lot of fun, you know, and I give all the glory, like I said once before, to God, and all the glory to the people that have supported me. And don't think I'm just saying that because I know where I come from. If it wasn't for God and you people out there, I wouldn't have my business. I don't forget that, you know. We don't serve you a hot dog and don't care if you come back or not. We use a Dearborn all beef hot dog. I always have. I use a real good hot dog. We get all our hot dog buns out of Detroit. They're Brown's Buns hot dogs. One of the best hot dog buns I can get. We serve Polish kielbasas, red hots, Italians we do once in a while with green peppers and onions if we do a show. and we do red hots, probably said that already, and chili cheese dogs. So we focus mainly on that. Once in a while we do hamburgers, but not a lot. But we do those too. And that's the fun food, you know. I like the stand to be not like a restaurant. I like it to be like a fun thing. You know, kids come here and I love kids. I got 21 grandkids and 5 great-grandkids. I love kids. I had 6 kids of my own. They've all been successful. They're not selling hot dogs. Like I said, they're successful. I'm just joking. But they never got into the hot dog thing, but they've, like I say, kids are a lot of business here. I get little kids. I could be like a show of Johnny Carson to tell you all the things that's happened with little kids. They'll come here 3 or 4 years old. They hang out the windows of the car yelling at me. I'm like the Ronald McDonald, I guess, of hot dogs. But I had one little kid, just a couple stories that always stuck in my brain. I had one little kid come to the hot dog wagon one day. He's about 4. And he come with his mom, and he was all happy to see me. He calls me the hot dog man. And he asked me, or he asked his mom, he says, "Mom, are hot dogs good for you?" And she says, "Well, ask the hot dog man." And he said, "Are hot dogs good for you, hot dog man?" And I said, "Well, son, I was eating hot dogs when I was your age." He looked at me and he looked at his mom. I'll never use that story again because he said, "I don't want one." I about died laughing. And then I had another boy come to the hot dog wagon one time. I mean, I've had a lot of kids, thousands. He had his shoes on the wrong feet. One was going one way and one was the other. He's about 3 or 4. And I said to him, I goes, "Hey," I said, "buddy," I said, "you got your shoes on the wrong feet." He thought a minute and he looked up at me and he goes, "You know, hot dog man, those are the only feet I got." And those are the type of things that, you know, if I didn't sell a hot dog all day long, those are the type of things that are good memories. I laugh, I love kids, and if I can make them smile, or I like to tell a lot of jokes. People that's been to my wagon knows. Sometimes I talk too much, but that's part of the business, I guess. But I love to tell a good joke. Nothing dirty, it's all clean jokes, but have fun with the kids. You know, that's made my business, you know. I've blessed people. We've donated a lot of hot dogs to different charities, funds, and different schools and homes for the elderlies, excuse my language, I can't say the word right, but we've always done that. We've tried to bless people with our hot dog wagon, and not as a promotional thing, not as an advertising thing, just because we want to do it. It's in our heart. And thanks to that, the Lord's really blessed us, you know.
Well, why don't you show us you loading up? Looks like you've had quite the crowd today. Would you like to go over there and put some dogs in?
Well, I gotta wait till Bev isn't busy because she's the one that puts it all away. No, I'm just joking. You know, it's quite a thing. You see all this stuff we have, the banners, the hot dog stand, the cooler, the tables, that table, everything that you see here, the two-wheeler that hauls everything.
You said something about, you said, you know, will that Coke machine to me?
Yeah, that's coming to you. We got to put that in writing.
Of course I go first.
There it is. But if you look at all this stuff, I've had people, they're amazed. I mean, we pull up with this wagon and we take everything out of that wagon. If one thing is not in that wagon the way that it's supposed to be, this ain't going to fit in it. So it's quite a knack how we do it. The first thing we do is we put, I call this the beast. This is the first thing that goes in the wagon. It rolls in. Next to that is the clown, which is over here. This is my little cash register thing right over here. Right over here, Mike. That holds all our rags and money and all that stuff. Then that goes in, then the two-wheeler goes in, tent folds up goes in, table and chairs all go in, all the banners go in, and the coolers all go to our commissary. It's where we keep our stuff in our commissary. The little pop cooler here goes in. But so it's quite a knack how it goes all in. So we pull up and unload this, people say, "Where did that stuff come from?" They can't believe it all goes in there. And but it's you know, after 26 years, I guess we kind of got it down pat. And we can tear this down we can set this whole hot dog stand up, and this is only half of it. Banners and all that's in my truck. We can set this whole stand up probably in a half an hour with everything going, and probably about a half an hour to tear it all down. That's how fast we do a show. And but you know, we got it down pat. If anybody just tried to do it on their own, it'd take them all day. Because number one, you get everything in, one thing wouldn't fit in there. Because it's all we have is this little trailer and our commissary where our food and that little Ranger that hauls the trailer. So quite a little knack to do that too. It's not brain surgery, but you still got to know what you're doing and what move to make. And we've served a lot of hot dogs in our time. I wouldn't even guess. I figured it out one day, and believe it or not, it ain't money. I don't know where the money is, but I tried to figure it out one time how many hot dogs we've sold throughout Home Depot, the Lowe's, doing this 26 years, and just on an average, I tried to figure it out, and it's probably been close to 1 million hot dogs. And that's true that we've sold. We don't have $1 million, but we that's probably around how many hot dogs that we've done throughout the 26 years. So it's been a lot of fun. And like I say, if it was to end today, hey, I've been blessed. It's been fun. We love what we do, and I can't say no more about it. It's great.
Let's pause for a commercial. We'll be right back with Tony, his wife, and the hot dog.
Hi, I'm Mark Shea, and this is Body by Mark. Here we do a complete line of repairs, collision repairs, anything at all that happens in an accident, we can fix it. We also do restoration repairs, and there's not a lot of shops around here that do it. We're working on a 2009 Jeep Wrangler. It's a TJ, and we are replacing a frame rail, which is very common on these. If you need an estimate, I'll even come to your house and do it for you.
Okay, we're back with Tony and his hot dog stand. Been a beautiful day. You know, we've got to learn a lot about Tony and his business, things that he's shared with all his great customers. Been a busy day for him, and appreciates all of you who have stopped by and had a dog or two with him. We like to share a story of unity, kindness, and love for our communities. Livingston County, always been there for each other.
Absolutely.
And let us continue to be that way, loving, caring, no matter the times. Always keeping in mind that we're here for each other. You know, things may be tough, but as long as we have each other and the Lord above, we're all going to make it through. So thank you for sharing this time. Remember to share, like, and most of all, subscribe to this YouTube channel, The Best of Brighton. This is, I believe, our 23rd, 24th episode, and we continue to show businesses in town of Brighton, Howell, and the surrounding areas, and supporting each other and telling the stories that you may or may not know. So again, thank you. Tony, any last words?
Yeah, like I said, I just want to, once again, I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. Anybody that knows me knows the way that I am. I really mean what I say. I want to thank everybody that's ever supported me. I've got to meet a lot of special people in my time, which is you. And I love every single one of you. You know, you're my customers, you're my people, and anybody that's never had a hot dog from me, shame on you. No, I'm just, anybody that's never had a hot dog, come on down, try us out. If you do like it, the only thing I could really ask you to do for me is to go on the internet. Any possible thing you can go on, let people know you liked it and that you enjoyed me and my jokes. Now, if you don't like it and you don't like my jokes, don't tell anybody. Just joking. But listen, thank you so much for the interview. I hope today, through this interview, I bless somebody. put Jesus first, and the sky's the limit. I'm a witness to that. So thank you very much. This is my
Thank
lovely
you.
wife.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, customers. We really appreciate you. We wouldn't be where we are without you.
Now she'd like to sing a song for you if you don't mind. I'm just joking. She's going to kill me.
Bye.
Thank you very much.